Hello everybody and welcome back to a beautiful, if not, as always, windy day. People wonder why I'm so interested in wind turbines as a source of alternative energy. Could it be that everywhere I move seems to be windy? I think maybe there might be a little something to that. So being Thursday, Permaculture Thursday as it were, we're going to take a look at that hugel bed where I'm pleased to share, I'm pretty sure I saw some beans popping up. Hopefully we can find some peas a little bit later on. That would be nice. And I've got a little news about mead making, and I want to discuss the proposition of biogas, not biodiesel. So settle in, this could be a quick one, but I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, so let's get started. Here we have the sort of kind of hugel bed thing. Our newest raised bed garden experience here. And so far things seem to be coming along. I mean, these tomatoes are certainly not the largest in the property, but they're definitely visible now. And as I was saying about the beans, I thought I noticed, I'm just trying to scan along here. Here we go. Starting in the middle, we've got one coming up there, got one coming up there. I was pretty sure I saw a few others in here. Yeah, got another one there. That's much closer to being up and open. There's another one. And one way over here at the end. There are tons more of them planted along the back of that there though, so I'm definitely hoping that they will come up. I haven't seen any peas popping their little heads up yet, but I'm prepared to wait. Good things take time, and garden fresh peas are a very good thing. So yeah, they're going to take some time. They'd best not take too long though, because I am, after all, gardening in Manitoba, so they don't have that long to dawdle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, in general, this bed's coming along fairly well. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like after we get our next winter and the snow packs it all down a little bit. But I am betting we'll still have a little bit of a lift there. And I can always top it up, you know, there's plenty of farms around. And believe it or not, they have cow flop. Can you believe it? On a farm. Yeah, anyway, we got a few friends that have all basically said, hey man, bring your trailer, load the bags up yourself, you can shovel as much as you need. And I need a lot, y'all. So, it's good to have friends. For the quick bit of mead discussion, I have decided to put that back on the cooking channel where it belongs. Yeah, it's kind of a permaculture thing, but it's also more of a, you know, using up my harvest and, well, cooking type thing, because it's home brewing, that's a kitchen activity. It just seems appropriate. So any updates on the mead, other than a quick one today, will be in the Meads and Melomel's playlist on the, well, it's bare in the kitchen now, but it's probably going to turn into my random cooking channel, because that seems to be kind of the flavor the alternate channels are taking. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So the biogas thing. Now, as I said, this is not to be confused with biodiesel. Biogas, from what I can tell so far, and I'm only a few days into my research, but I've got several pages of notes and lots of drawings and all kinds of interesting ideas. But basically, it just kind of seems to be like a high-speed composter that kind of simulates the digestive tract of a large grazing animal. And basically, anything organic can go into this. So that means not only just the lawn clippings and all of the, you know, the weeds and the garden scraps and stuff like that, but we can also put in, you know, kitchen scraps that normally shouldn't be in the compost. You know, onions, they give us gas, they're bound to produce methane in that system, aren't they? Not necessarily supposed to put orange peels or super hot peppers or anything like that into your compost. And one thing that is primarily problematic for composters, especially composters who are large property holders, is dog waste. What do you do with it, right? If it doesn't get to the right temperature, you're looking at a serious potential health risk by using that in your garden. So a lot of people just plain avoid it. But it seems to me that that should be an ideal producer of methane to power something on a property. So I am actually going to try and design a little biogas system for dog owners that will power a small heater perhaps for a large fish tank, or maybe warm some raised beds. Mosquitoes, what do you do? We'll see. It's going to be interesting, but here's my current problem, right? This nasty heaping pile of ugliness we refer to as the landscaping compost, and a wide variety of things end up in here, mostly to cover up Lazzie's waste, because he makes a lot of it. He's a big dog, you know, it is what it is. He's 120 pounds. He eats probably more than I do in the average day. But also in here you end up with things like actually that wasn't a failed batch. What happened was I forgot to take that in, but there's lots of sugars in there. Basically, the higher the sugar content of what you put into your biodigester, the more methane it can produce, is how that works. But there are rules that go along with that. So I mean, half a rotted watermelon, that could have gone in there. Banana peels, eggshells, you know, all of these leaf clippings, and you know, all of these weed bits, and all of this stuff that's taking years to break down out here could be broken down in months in one of those things, as I understand it. And composting has been a huge issue for me. I was digging down to the initial layer, so that would be from like September of 15, and it still hasn't broken down. It's just as if it dried and got stacked there 2 weeks ago. So I need something better. I've toyed with the idea of putting a pyramid style greenhouse over here. Maximum heat retention, it'll be able to stick out above the snow, whatever snow will slide off of it. I'll be able to generate heat that way. Maybe my compost pile would keep working throughout the wintertime that way, but it's going to produce a lot of methane that goes up and pollutes the atmosphere, because methane on its own is kind of a pollutant, but apparently if you burn it, it comes out quite clean. So I am not at all against the idea of a faster way to compost this, because when it all comes out of your biogas digester, apparently it's quite useful for the garden. I've seen, well, I saw this thing in the UK actually, where they were basically using it to power a lot of their vehicles. They were powering a 7 kilowatt generator, and they were providing the heat for their facility all off of, I believe they were just using cow dung or silage, one of the two. But either way, cow dung ultimately is half digested grass. And ultimately, that's what I have in this pile here, is half composted, half digested grass. So I think if I start a system with something like this, I should get the right type of anaerobic bacteria. That's all a discussion for a future video on my small farm channel though. So yeah, if you're interested in that, definitely check that out, because that definitely counts as a farm conversion type thing that I want to get doing. Part of that too is I've got this trailer, right? We picked up this trailer and a trailer hitch for the Jeep with a ball on it. All of it $40 at the townwide garage sale last year. It's been, you know, loaded up with branches for quite some time. I'm finally working through those, and it occurred to me the other day that this trailer has some very interesting long-term potential. One thing that Shocks and I have already discussed, well, we've discussed lots of things about this, obviously, we're that kind of couple, we chat. But one of the things we have determined is that we are going to want some sort of power in the very early stages of having acreage. So the idea with the trailer is to make a portable power station. So I saw a great biogas digester system that was set up by, I believe it was the Urban Farming guys. Used 3 of these IBC totes to make sure everything was just absolutely digested before it went through. I drew that down in my little notebook because it seems to me those totes and this trailer are a pretty darn good match, and I would like to have something dry fit, we'll say. So set up to run, but not necessarily running. Set up on the trailer so that when we go and we do have acreage and we can park this somewhere, maybe take the wheels off or whatnot, we can pretty much start biogas generation right away, because this also works to power generators and stuff, not necessarily to the same level that regular petroleum would, but still better than half. So keep your power usage down, create your own home-based gas, well, fuel, and there's your power source, right? So there you go. Set up a portable power station on the trailer. That's definitely going to be a project video on my small farm channel. But before I do that, there's a couple things I want to do. I've got to test the theory first, prove that this actually works. I've always been a hands-on learner. Those of you who follow my channel have undoubtedly seen this for yourselves. So yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to dive into it with smaller stage projects. I've got a few of those already doodled down, kind of a couple that are brewing in my head already, so it's going to be interesting to explore. But the first one I'm going to explore, I I saw a video made by some young folks, some young students in the Pakistani Science Club, and they used one of those 5-gallon 20-liter water bottles and made a very small biogas digester, and they powered theirs with cow manure. I don't have that, so I'm going to use my half-composed silage in the back there. But if it produces methane, then I figure this is definitely worth proceeding onward with. And if something that small can produce methane, I've also got this little old camp stove that kind of came with the property, so I imagine there'll be a conversion project in that. But you know, one thing at a time. Got a proof of concept before I do feasibility studies, right? Yeah. Anyway, this is where I'm going to wrap up the Permaculture Thursday. I feel like I've been babbling for a really long time, and I need to get a beverage. Something cold would be a great idea. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to take a look at the chilies that are growing around the yard. Some of these peppers are doing great, some of them not so much. I'm looking for some advice and considering some drastic measures, so you may or may not want to tune in for that. All right, those of you who will, I'll see you tomorrow.